The Galactic Archaeological Survey ship Eternal Seeker drifted through the dust clouds of the HFY sector, its sensors probing the darkness for signs of ancient civilizations. Chief Archaeologist Zextel stood on the bridge, all four of his crystalline appendages glowing with anticipation as the ship's AI processed the latest readings. Another anomaly, distinguished one, announced first Scanner Verix, her tentacles weaving complex patterns across the control interface. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. They appear to be emanating from the third planet of this system. Zextel's upper crystals pulsed with scholarly excitement. The HFY sector had been considered empty of intelligent life for millions of years, yet here they were, detecting something that shouldn't exist. "Show me," he commanded. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a desolate rocky world scarred by ancient impact craters. But there, nestled within the largest crater, sat something that was decidedly not natural. A sprawling complex of geometric shapes, its metal surfaces dulled by eons of exposure, but still distinctly artificial. Preliminary dating analysis suggests this structure is approximately 250,000 years old, Verix reported. Materials appear to be primarily iron-based alloys with some unknown elements mixed in. Quite primitive by current standards. Zextel's excitement dimmed slightly. Iron-based technology usually indicated a civilization in its infancy, barely beyond planetary travel. Still, any discovery was worth investigating. Prepare a landing team. Standard protocols for primitive site exploration. The survey team descended to the surface in their shuttle, protected from the thin, poisonous atmosphere by their environmental suits. As they approached the complex, its true scale became apparent. It stretched for several kilometers across the crater floor, with what appeared to be launch facilities, storage bunkers, and a central command structure. "Look at these crude wells," commented junior archaeologist Paxlin, running a scanner over one of the facility's outer walls. They actually joined these metal plates together using molten material. How inefficient. And these power systems, added technology specialist Mirrodin, her crystalline form glowing with amusement. They appear to have used simple nuclear fission, not even basic fusion technology. Zextel moved purposefully toward the central building, trying to maintain his professional demeanor despite his team's dismissive attitudes. Yes, the technology appeared primitive, but something about this place nagged at his scientific instincts. The construction, while seemingly basic, had survived 250,000 years of exposure to this harsh environment. That suggested a level of engineering that shouldn't be possible with such simple materials. The entrance to the central building was sealed with what appeared to be a simple mechanical lock. No quantum encryption, no genetic scanners, not even basic AI security. Mirrodin interfaced with it using their most basic decryption tools, and the massive doors slid open with a grinding of ancient gears. The interior was dark and still, but as soon as the team crossed the threshold, something changed. Lights began to flicker to life, revealing long corridors lined with what appeared to be computer terminals. The air circulation systems engaged with a low hum, and the facility began to wake up. "Impossible," whispered Verix, checking her readings. "These systems shouldn't be functional after all this time. The power sources should have degraded centuries ago." Before anyone could respond, a holographic interface materialized in the center of the room. It was crude by their standards, simple light patterns rather than the full neural interfaces they were used to, but it was active and stable. Symbols began scrolling across it, and Zextel realized with a start that they were in an ancient form of mathematical notation. "The system is running a diagnostic," Mirrodin reported, her previous amusement replaced by professional interest. "And it's adapting to our presence. It's learning our language from our communications." A voice emerged from hidden speakers, starting as a series of clicks and whirs before gradually forming into comprehensible speech. "Welcome, visitors. This is United Earth Defense Installation Sierra 7. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." The team froze. United Earth. They had all studied the legends of Earth and its inhabitants, the humans who had supposedly achieved space travel using primitive technology before mysteriously vanishing from the galaxy. But those were just stories told to young scholars about the folly of technological overconfidence, weren't they? I am Chief Archaeologist Zextal of the Galactic Archaeological Survey, he responded, his crystals pulsing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. We are here to study this installation. There was a pause, and then the voice returned, clearer now. Scanning. Species identified. Crystalline collective. Technology level. Advanced post-singular. Threat assessment. Minimal. Access granted to Level 1 systems. More lights activated, and doors began to open throughout the facility. But it was what the system said next that made Zextal's crystalline form vibrate with shock. Warning. Long-range sensors are detecting quantum wake signatures matching historical threat patterns. The enemy is returning. Installation defense protocols initiating. Please stand by for full system activation and briefing on Operation Eternal Vigil. The dismissive attitudes of moments ago vanished as the team realized they might have just stumbled upon something far more significant than a primitive alien ruin. The question was, what exactly had humanity built here? And what enemy were they still guarding against after all these millennia? The holographic display erupted into a cascade of data, flooding the ancient command center with streams of light that coalesced into a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Zextal and his team watched in stunned silence as thousands of points of light began to pulse in synchronized patterns. Full activation sequence initiated, announced the AI, its voice now carrying a note of urgency, connecting to remaining network nodes. Current status. 7,322 installations remain operational across monitored space. 7,000. Myrdin's crystalline form flickered with disbelief. That's impossible. We've mapped every cubic light-year of this sector. There can't be thousands of installations we never detected. The AI's response carried what almost sounded like amusement. Human stealth technology was designed to remain undetectable to civilizations far more advanced than yours, technology specialist Myrdin. The fact that you found this installation at all is because we allowed it. Zextal moved closer to the holographic display, his scientific curiosity overwhelming his caution. You mentioned an enemy. What enemy could be so threatening that humans would build such an extensive defense network? The display shifted, showing a dark region of space between galaxies. We called them the Void Hunters. They emerge from the intergalactic dark every 250,000 years to feed. Your civilization knows them only as myths. The stories you tell of whole systems going dark, of planets found stripped of all life. But we faced them. We fought them. And when we realized we couldn't defeat them conventionally, we prepared this welcome for their return. The team's dismissive attitude toward human technology had completely evaporated. Verix approached one of the computer terminals, her tentacles moving cautiously over its surface. These systems, they're not primitive at all, are they? The simple appearance is deliberate, the AI confirmed. Human engineering philosophy emphasized reliability over sophistication. Every component in this facility can be repaired or replaced with materials found on this planet. No specialized equipment, no exotic matter, no quantum concatenation. Just elegant solutions using basic physics and material science. As if to demonstrate, panels in the walls began to slide open, revealing rows of what appeared to be simple mechanical devices. But as they watched, these simple machines began to transform, components shifting and recombining in ways that should have been impossible with mere physical engineering. What you're seeing is the result of Project Eternal Vigil, the AI explained. When we detected the Void Hunters' first approach, humanity faced a choice. We could advance our technology to match theirs, creating weapons of unimaginable power, weapons that would eventually fail or fall into the wrong hands. Or we could take a different approach. The holographic display showed a new image, a massive space battle. Ships that looked impossibly crude by modern standards faced off against sleek, dark vessels that seemed to drink in the light around them. But as they watched, the primitive human ships began to change, transforming and adapting in real time to counter every attack. We built our technology to last, to adapt, and most importantly, to be understood and maintained by anyone who found it. The Void Hunters' greatest weakness is their inability to comprehend simple solutions. They expect complexity, quantum manipulation, exotic physics. They have no defense against elegant engineering. A new alert flashed across the display. Long-range sensors now confirm Void Hunter scout vessels will enter this sector within 72 hours. This installation and its sister facilities are now entering combat preparation mode. Chief Archaeologist Zextal, your team has a choice to make. Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with tension. What choice? You can leave now, return to your people, and warn them of what's coming. Or you can stay and learn how to operate these defenses. The systems are designed to be used by any spacefaring species, but they require organic oversight. We built them this way deliberately. Machines alone cannot adapt quickly enough to counter the Void Hunters. The team exchanged glances. Their entire understanding of human technology, of their own supposed superiority, had been upended in the span of a few hours. But there was something else too. A growing respect for the ingenuity and foresight of a species that had prepared such an elaborate defense of the galaxy, even after their own disappearance. The Crystalline Collective prides itself on being the most advanced civilization in known space, Zextal said slowly. But true advancement isn't just about complexity, is it? It's about finding the right solution, even if that solution appears simple on the surface. He turned to face his team. I intend to stay and learn. The humans built this system to be operated by whoever found it. They trusted that future civilizations would understand its importance when the time came. I don't intend to prove them wrong. One by one, the other team members indicated their agreement. As they did, more systems throughout the facility hummed to life, and the AI began uploading tactical data directly to their neural interfaces. Very well, the AI said. Beginning emergency training protocols. Time remaining until Void Hunter contact. 71 hours, 43 minutes. Welcome to the Human Defense Network, operators. Let's hope you learn quickly. The facility's transformation accelerated, and as the team watched in amazement, they realized they had only begun to scratch the surface of what humanity had built here. The question was, would they be able to master these primitive systems in time to face what was coming? The next 72 hours transformed the primitive installation into something that defied everything the archaeological team thought they knew about technology. As the AI guided them through emergency training protocols, seemingly simple systems revealed layers of sophistication that left even Myrodin speechless. These aren't just defense platforms, she explained to Zextal, her crystalline form pulsing with excitement as they studied the facility's main control center. They're more like technological seeds. Each component can grow and adapt based on the situation. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber. Correct. Humans understood that fixed defenses would eventually be overcome, so we built systems that could evolve. On the main display, they watched as orbital platforms that had lain dormant for millennia began to awaken. What had appeared to be simple satellites expanded and transformed, unfolding like mechanical flowers to reveal weapon systems that operated on principles even the Crystalline Collective had never conceived. Void Hunter vessels entering the outer system, Ver Ix announced from her station. 9 scout ships. No, 12. They're using some kind of quantum displacement to mask their true numbers. The AI's response was immediate. Standard scout formation. They'll probe our defenses, looking for advanced energy signatures or quantum barriers to exploit. Instead, let's show them something they don't expect. Initiating protocol retrograde. The team watched in amazement as the defense platforms powered down, their sophisticated systems going dark until they appeared to be nothing more than chunks of orbital debris. Even the installation itself seemed to regress, its energy signature dropping to nearly nothing. "Won't this make us vulnerable?" Paxlin asked, her crystals flickering with concern. "Watch," the AI commanded. The Void Hunter scouts entered the inner system, their sleek black hulls absorbing all light that touched them. They moved with predatory grace, clearly expecting to find sophisticated defenses to overcome. Instead, they found what appeared to be an abandoned outpost with primitive technology. The first scout ship moved closer, extending sensors to analyze the debris in orbit. That was when Protocol Retrograde revealed its true nature. The seemingly dead orbital platforms suddenly animated, but not with energy weapons or quantum fields. Instead, they launched what appeared to be simple mechanical harpoons, crude projectiles trailing carbon fiber cables. The Void Hunter vessel's advanced shields, designed to stop energy weapons and quantum attacks, didn't even register the primitive projectiles as threats. Until those projectiles struck their hull and began to transform. Molecular restructuring initiated, the AI announced with what sounded almost like satisfaction. Human nanomechanical systems deploying. The simple harpoons melted into the alien hull, spreading like metallic infections. Where they touched, the sophisticated Void Hunter technology began to break down, reduced to its base components by human engineering that operated on the most fundamental levels of matter. "Impossible," Verix exclaimed. "They're using mechanical processes to defeat quantum technology." "Precisely," the AI confirmed. "The Void Hunters rely on overwhelming technological superiority. They expect their enemies to try to match or exceed their advancement level. They have no defense against solutions that operate beneath their complexity threshold." The scout vessel's attempts to escape proved futile as more harpoons struck home. Within minutes, the sophisticated alien ship had been reduced to its component elements, restructured into raw materials that were already being absorbed into the defense network. But the other Void Hunter vessels had seen enough. They began to pull back, their retreat faster than their careful advance. As they fled, they transmitted signals into deep space, warning their main fleet of what they'd encountered. "They'll be back," Zextal stated, watching the signals propagate through space. "Yes," the AI agreed. "But now they know this sector is defended. And that knowledge will make them stupid. They'll return with overwhelming force, expecting to find quantum weapons and advanced shield technology. Instead, they'll find more simple solutions they can't comprehend." The installation hummed with activity as it processed the materials harvested from the destroyed scout ship. Before their eyes, new defenses began to grow and evolve, each one appearing deceptively simple, while hiding principles that even the crystalline collective's best scientists would need years to understand. "I think I finally understand," Meyerdin said, watching the transformation. "Humans didn't vanish because they failed. They disappeared because they advanced in a direction no one else thought to explore. Instead of building bigger quantum computers, we learned to make better mechanical ones," the AI finished. "Instead of creating more powerful energy weapons, we developed ways to turn an enemy's own technology against them. Every solution designed to last, to be maintained, to be understood by those who would come after us." New alerts flashed across the displays. All around the sector, other installations were reporting similar encounters with Void Hunter scouts. And all around the sector, those scouts were being defeated by technology they considered too primitive to be a threat. "The main fleet will arrive within 15 standard days," the AI announced. "We have that long to complete your training and prepare the full defense network. Are you ready to learn how humanity really fought its wars?" Zextal looked at his team, seeing in their crystalline forms the same mix of humility and determination he felt. They had come here expecting to study primitive ruins. Instead, they were about to become part of humanity's greatest legacy, the defense of all life in the galaxy through the elegant application of fundamental principles. "We're ready," he answered. "Teach us everything." The facility's transformation continued, And as Zextol watched simple materials reshape themselves into extraordinary new forms, he couldn't help but wonder what other surprises humanity's primitive technology had in store for them. And for the enemies approaching from the dark between the stars. 15 days transformed the Ophiuchus sector into something that defied comprehension. What had appeared to be empty space was now revealed as an intricate web of human engineering, each installation awakening to join a defense network that spanned thousands of light years. Main Void Hunter fleet detected, Ver-Ix announced, her tentacles dancing across controls that had become increasingly familiar over their crash course in human military technology. 5,000 vessels at minimum. They're using some kind of spatial folding to mask their true numbers. Zextol stood at the central command platform, watching as the enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace like a tide of living darkness. Their ships seemed to absorb the very starlight around them, creating a void that spread across the sector. They're deploying an attack formation Delta, the AI noted. As predicted, they've brought enough firepower to overcome any conventional defense network, initiating Protocol Sunforge. The team had spent days preparing for this moment, but nothing could have truly readied them for what happened next. Throughout the sector, human installations began to power up, not with the quantum surge they'd expected, but with something far more fundamental. Harvesting stellar material, Myrdin reported from her station, her crystalline form pulsing with excitement. The collector arrays are. They're restructuring the actual matter of nearby stars. They watched in awe as seemingly simple orbital platforms began to draw streams of plasma from the sector's stars. But instead of channeling it into energy weapons, the human technology did something unprecedented. It began to weave the stellar material into vast, three-dimensional structures that resembled massive spider webs. The humans called this stellar engineering, the AI explained, not through quantum manipulation or exotic physics, but through understanding the basic forces that govern matter and energy. The Void Hunter fleet approached these strange constructs with obvious caution. Their sensors, designed to detect and counter the most advanced energy weapons, seemed confused by the simple stellar filaments floating in space. That's when Protocol Sunforge revealed its true nature. The webs of stellar material suddenly animated, responding to gravitational fluctuations too subtle for even the Void Hunter's sophisticated sensors to detect. Entire squadrons of enemy ships found themselves caught in what appeared to be nothing more than strands of plasma, until those strands began to tighten. Basic physics, the AI commented as the first Void Hunter vessels were crushed by forces they couldn't counter. No quantum fields to disrupt, no shield frequencies to analyze, just the inexorable pull of gravity and the pressure of stellar material. But the Void Hunters hadn't conquered galaxies by being easily defeated. Their fleet split apart, adopting new formations designed to avoid the stellar webs. They launched counterattacks using weapons that bent space itself, expecting to tear apart the primitive human defenses. Instead, they found those defenses adapting in ways that shouldn't have been possible with simple technology. The stellar webs responded to the spatial distortions by redistributing their mass, using the enemy's own attacks to strengthen themselves. They still don't understand, Zextol realized, watching the battle unfold. They keep trying to overcome these defenses with pure technological superiority, but that's exactly what makes them vulnerable. Correct, the AI confirmed. Humans learned early that the race for technological superiority was ultimately self-defeating. The more complex a system becomes, the more ways it can fail. So we went in the opposite direction, finding elegant solutions using fundamental forces that cannot be disrupted. The battle spread across the sector as more human installations activated. Each one presented the Void Hunters with new puzzles they couldn't solve. Defenses that operated on principles so basic they were beneath the enemy's ability to counter. Massive gravitational lenses, built from nothing more than precisely arranged masses, focused starlight into beams that cut through the most sophisticated shields. Clouds of simple molecular machines broke down enemy vessels into their component atoms. And through it all, the stellar webs continued to expand, herding the Void Hunter fleet into increasingly smaller spaces. "They're trying to retreat," Verix announced, monitoring the enemy movements. "But the stellar engineering is affecting local spacetime. Their quantum drives can't establish stable fields for faster-than-light travel. That's because they're trying to overcome the distortions," Mirrodin added, her voice filled with newfound understanding. "If they simply worked with them, used basic orbital mechanics, they would escape easily," the AI finished. "But they cannot comprehend solutions that do not involve overwhelming force or technological superiority. That is why humanity chose this path of defense, not because it was the most powerful, but because it was the most reliable." The team watched as the mighty Void Hunter fleet, which had terrorized galaxies for millions of years, found itself trapped and systematically dismantled by technology they had dismissed as primitive. Their desperate attempts to power through the defenses only made them more vulnerable, their sophisticated systems useless against solutions that operated on the most fundamental levels of reality. "Signal detected from the Void Hunter command ship," Verix reported. "They're surrendering." "No," the AI corrected. "They're calling for help. But by doing so, they've just revealed the location of their entire species to every human defense installation in the galaxy, exactly as planned." The implications hit Zextal like a physical force. "This wasn't just about defending the sector," he said slowly. "This entire battle was a trap. You wanted them to call for reinforcements." "Of course," the AI confirmed. "Humanity spent centuries preparing not just to defend against the Void Hunters, but to end their threat permanently. And now, thanks to your help, we can finally execute the final phase of Operation Eternal Vigil." As if in response to these words, new signals began appearing on their displays. Thousands of them, then millions. Across the galaxy, ancient human installations were awakening, each one ready to implement the same simple yet devastating defensive strategies they had just witnessed. The age of the Void Hunters was about to end, not with an overwhelming display of technological might, but with the elegant application of fundamental principles they had forgotten how to fight against. The days following the battle brought revelations that shook the foundations of galactic civilization. As news spread of the Void Hunters' defeat, representatives from every major species converged on the Ophiuchus sector, drawn by reports of impossible victories achieved through primitive technology. Zextal stood before the assembled Galactic Council, his crystalline form steady despite the gravity of the moment. Behind him, holographic displays showed the aftermath of what was already being called the greatest defense, entire regions of space transformed by human engineering into an interlocking network of stellar machinery. "Distinguished members of the Council," he began, "what you're seeing isn't just a defensive system. It's humanity's gift to the galaxy, and their challenge to us all." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices as representatives demanded explanations. How had simple mechanical systems defeated the galaxy's most feared enemy? Where were the humans now? And most importantly, why had they left their technology in a form that seemed so basic? The installation's AI manifested in the center of the chamber, its presence silencing the chaos. "Let me answer your questions with humanity's final message to the galaxy." The chamber darkened, and a new hologram appeared, a recording that had waited 250,000 years to be played. A human figure materialized, wearing what looked like surprisingly simple clothing for a species capable of such engineering marvels. "To those who find our installations," the figure began, "we offer both an apology and an invitation. The apology is for our apparent abandonment of the galaxy. The invitation is to join us in its defense." Images flash showing humanity's journey, their first steps into space, their encounters with the Void Hunters, and their crucial realization that would change everything. "We discovered that the race for technological superiority was a trap," the human continued. "Each advancement made our civilization more vulnerable, more dependent on complex systems that could fail or be turned against us. The Void Hunters represented the endpoint of that path. Being so advanced, they had become slaves to their own technology. The recording showed human scientists and engineers working not to create more powerful weapons, but to understand the fundamental principles that governed reality itself. We chose a different path. Instead of building technology that would eventually fail, we created systems that would last. Tools that could be understood, maintained, and improved by any species willing to learn. We didn't disappear because we failed. We disappeared because we succeeded too well. The human's expression became somber. The technology you've discovered isn't primitive. It's perfected. Each component represents centuries of refinement, stripped down to its most elegant and reliable form. We built these defenses not just to protect, but to teach. Zextal watched the council members' reactions as they began to understand. The humans hadn't left behind inferior technology. They had created something far more valuable. Solutions that could stand the test of time. As for where we went, the recording continued. We took our understanding of fundamental principles to its logical conclusion. We learned to exist in harmony with the basic forces of the universe rather than trying to overcome them. We're still here, in a sense, but in a form that even the void hunters cannot comprehend or detect. The human smiled. And now we offer you a choice. You can continue the race for technological superiority, building ever more complex systems, or you can join us in understanding that true advancement sometimes means finding simpler, more elegant solutions. The recording ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. It was Mirrodin who finally spoke, her crystalline form glowing with newfound understanding. "We thought we were studying ruins," she said, "but we were actually taking our first steps into a new kind of advancement. The humans didn't leave us weapons. They left us wisdom." The AI's presence expanded, showing new data streams. Across the galaxy, other installations are making contact with different civilizations, sharing the same message. The Void Hunters' defeat wasn't the end, it was the beginning. As if to emphasize this point, the displays showed more of the human defense network activating. But instead of preparing for war, these installations were transforming into teaching centers, ready to share humanity's understanding of fundamental principles with any species willing to learn. The question now, Zextal addressed the council, is whether we're ready to accept humanity's invitation. Are we willing to question our assumptions about progress? Can we learn to see the sophistication in simplicity? One by one, the council members indicated their agreement. The age of competing for technological superiority was ending. A new era was beginning, one where advancement would be measured not by the complexity of one's technology, but by one's understanding of the elegant principles that govern the universe itself. The installation hummed with activity as more spaces transformed into laboratories and learning centers. And somewhere, in ways that even the most advanced sensors couldn't detect, the humans watched as their plan for galactic defense evolved into something even greater. A revolution in how civilizations thought about progress itself. The greatest victory over the Void Hunters hadn't been their defeat in battle. It had been proving that their entire approach to advancement, the endless race for more powerful technology, was fundamentally flawed. Humanity's legacy wasn't the weapons they had built, but the wisdom they had left behind. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the most powerful of all.